I would like to talk a little bit about exploring CLIL and disciplinary literacies from my perspective, that is, from the perspective of a content expert. How much time do I have?
You have actually 25 minutes.
Okay, oh, that's good.
That's generous.
The presentation is like accordions, they can shrink and expand. Okay, I'm with the computer engineering at Kadir University. I'm electrical engineer by background. In fact, I served in electrical, electronics engineering departments, computer engineering departments, mechatronics engineering departments. Well, I lectured for industrial engineering, etc. So that's partly because my area of expertise, that's automatic control systems. But I think it's also valid for most of the engineers. So that's how engineering is. So it's sort of fluid among the other several disciplines of engineering. But before starting, I think I should remind you that this is in fact what we have presented with Talib at the 14th ELF conference 2 weeks ago. So for those who were there, it might be a bit deja vu. But before going to this study, of which results I'm going to present you, maybe I should talk a little bit about how, as an electrical or computer engineer, whatever you would like to call it, how I ended up here, or how I ended up in a conference like ELF, English as a lingua franca. So, well, that's what I'm going to do. So that's, I don't like this, but I have to talk a little bit about myself, because that's part of the information which is hidden in this presentation. So I'm not going to tell much about the conceptualization of disciplinary literacies. I think now everybody knows this. But I'm going to present a retrospective case study, which means the study was not intended for the results, to explore the questions in this presentation. It was some time ago, between 2017 till 2020, where I have collected some data on my classroom. But now I'm looking back and evaluating from this data from this disciplinary literacies point of view. And I would like to give a couple of examples from the focus group interviews which we obtained on this study. Okay, so yeah, first of all, about me, I think it's been quite a while. I'm teaching now more than 35 years maybe, but for a very long time, I was teaching the way I was taught, just by conventional methods. So I had a blackboard and a first chalk and then PowerPoint presentations, of course, but all these years, I mean, yeah, I suffered what most of the teachers have suffered, that is degradation in the motivation, myself and the students, decreasing attendance rate, plagiarisms, and also, since I'm working in an EMI university, language-related issues. So, I mean, at some point, of course, I thought that I should stop blaming lazy and stupid students, but I had to do something on my own. So that's, and I was lucky because I had teacher educators in the family. Well, first I started with blended learning, that is somehow to take the learning process out of the classroom. So if the students do not come to the class, so I should go to where they are. So that's how we started, by using some blended methods, where I noticed that they are useful especially for students who have some language-related problems, that for students whose English proficiency is maybe not as good as the others. So that attracted my attention to the English medium instruction. So something is going on. I mean, I realized that the English medium instruction is not just speaking English in the class. So it brings its own problems and benefits. In fact, we had also, I think in 2018, a symposium in Istanbul where we collected many of the experts, language and content experts from different cities of Turkey, where we discussed all these problems and the benefits of English medium instruction. And it didn't take much time that I realized EMI is a manifestation of ELF. So basically, it's a common language between you and the students, and both parties do not have English as their first language. In fact, we found out also later that even if the first language of both parties are English, it's still ELF, depending on the settings. Anyway, so I then had friends from the ELF community, and I sort of sneaked into the European projects in ELF. And then, of course, after accepting that, well, I may not be a language expert, I'm not a language teacher, but I have to teach language at the end. So then I found this cost action right in front of me, so I joined it. And now, well, I'm just trying to find out more about disciplinary literacies. So, well, yeah, having said all this, because I'm talking about this because that might give some, that might shed some more light on the study I'm going to present. So just to tell you what it means from the perspective of a content expert. Right? Okay, so what I'm doing in this cost action is, well, I think I joined all the online meeting. I was the only one in the Vienna meeting who was patient enough to see the end of the meeting. And then we had a free linguistics conference at my university, which we organized with Yasemin, where we had a colloquium dedicated to this cost action, and where we presented, where I presented my presentation on exploring disciplinary literacy in EMI University classroom, which is like a very first version of this presentation. In fact, I gave the same presentation at the Pakistani University of Education. Yeah, and yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was in an ELF conference where we presented this presentation basically. Well, just maybe 90% of this presentation with Talib, right? And so on and so forth. Now we are in Leiden, so I'm going to also plan to attend the teacher training tomorrow and until Friday. And I think we have to then finalize our article about this study maybe. Okay, so that you all know, that's our tree of 5 representing 5 dimensions of disciplinary, multilingual disciplinary literacies. Of course, to me as an engineer, bi is a subset of multi, so I don't like to say bi and multilingual, so it's multilingual to me. Multi means larger than one, right? Okay. Right, so what did we do? It was between 2017 and 2020, so it took 3 years, so 6 terms, fall and spring terms. And I collected some data on my own classroom, trying out to see, well, the initial aim was whether all this blended learning methods is helping to the students or not. But now, looking back all this data, what I'm asking is, or what we asked with Talib was to find out whether these dimensions of disciplinary literacies are, or how they are realized in EMI electrical engineering courses, and also to determine the perceptions of the views of the students about the contributions of these different multimodal resources we use in the course to their understanding of discipline-specific content. So each term, what I was doing is, first of all, to start the term with a needs analysis survey and a usability questionnaire to find out in what way the students are familiar about the methods, these blended methods I'm going to use in the course. And then, well, I designed or I reviewed each term, the course material according to results of this needs analysis. And, well, at the end of each term, maybe 1 month or later, after the end of each term, I conducted focus group interviews with the students. Also, there has been other questionnaires at the mid of the term and at the end of the term. So there was, there are other ways of many different data we collected here. Right. So all the electrical engineering students, and during this 6 years, I had 245 students in this courses. Well, almost all of them were, they were speaking Turkish as L1 and English as L2. I think I have 1 or 2 exchange students throughout all these 3 years in the class whose first language wasn't Turkish. Yeah, these are the courses: digital design and control systems, false spring in 3 years. These both are compulsory core, well, important courses in an electrical engineering curriculum. They can be found in any electrical engineering curriculum. They are must courses. So each term I had between 40 to 50 students then. Okay, so there was a face-to-face component, of course, 3 lectures per 3-hour lectures per week, but then they had to do other activities, online activities. They watched videos for different, different types of videos. They had a discussion forum. All these are evaluated, of course. Right? So that's why they had to do that. And they were doing online assignments. So, for example, 2 of the activities were follows. I was lecturing. When I finish a chapter, maybe in 1 or maybe for longer chapters, 3 weeks, I had the video of the PowerPoints, which were animated PowerPoint videos on which I narrate. And these videos are between 30 minutes to 40 minutes, covering all the chapter. And they had to watch this, and then they had to write a 300 words long paragraph, a somewhat long paragraph, about, they had to write the synopsis of this video. I don't want to write them anything technical. They just to tell what's happening or how the subject is presented in the video, like it starts with this definition, then the examples are given, something like, it's a movie synopsis, that what they need to generate, or what I expect them to generate, without using any formulas, graphs, anything else but text and words, even not variables. So no maths, nothing, just verbal, which the students protested a lot, of course, as engineering students, but I showed them examples. And then I found some videos on the YouTube which were, well, sometimes an alternative explanation, an alternative way of seeing something I was teaching in the course, or maybe an application, a new technology about what we have taught, etc. Short videos, 5 to 10 minutes, very short. So, and then they discuss it on the discussion boards. Sometimes I put 1 or 2 questions for them just to prompt them to discuss. Sometimes they do it their own. Well, I think they like this. And other activities, of course. I mean, but so let's just think about these 2. Okay, so now looking back of how this disciplinary literacy dimensions are covered, or if they are covered on these activities. I mean, reflecting back, I see now the following. So I had a multi-semiotic dimension in all this because of the lecture notes, of course. You see, in my lecture notes, in my PowerPoint presentation in the course, I hardly have full sentences. I usually have formulas, graphs, diagrams, pictures. So, but I just speak on them, right? So it's therefore quite multimodal. And of course, the PowerPoint videos are, of course, generated from the same lecture notes. Well, there's an interesting, for example, detail here. I had to teach them to write some of the Greek characters, which they don't know, because, well, I mean, mathematics is a hard job. It's 26 letters won't be enough. So you need other alphabets, so Greek alphabet first. But I mean, for example, I remember they had difficulty in writing zeta in the exams, psi, differentiate phi and psi sometimes. So, I mean, interesting, dyslexia, is that dyslexia? Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a problem. So I teach them like, I mean, primary level, primary school teachers teach writing. So that's how you write a zeta, right? I remember very well this. Interesting multi-semiotic dimension memory of mine. So there is also, of course, a translingual dimension. Well, luckily, the textbook is, of course, English, but both textbooks, in both courses, there were Turkish translations available on the market. And I also like to, I always tell them about the Turkish jargon as well, so that's what we call this in Turkish, etc. So I'm not very keen of talking in Turkish when they do not understand something in the class, but well, I mean, that's the last resort maybe, but I'm happy to say the Turkish vocabulary to them about this different engineering concepts. This online homework where they have to write the synopsis of my PowerPoint video was in fact a functional dimension, or because it's another setting. It's not a technical setting. It's just looking at the technical, highly mathematical or technical video and write an abstract of it, a non-technical abstract. So that's, I think, represents the functional dimension. Of course, the critical dimension is obvious. They discuss in the discussion forums. And this public YouTube videos where I had the applications of different technologies related to the course were really very useful for them. And on the technological dimension as well, because frequently on all these videos, we had new applications, new technology, etc. So they got an idea what they should expect as an engineer, as far as what they gained, what the knowledge they gained from this course. Okay, so I'm happy to find out that I'm covering really on all these activities, all these different dimensions of disciplinary literacies. Yeah, maybe I can give a couple of examples from the focus group interviews as well. I mean, it was an unstructured group interview that's done in Turkish, of course. So we chat with the students about how they felt about the activities, about the course components, and that's, as I said, at the end of the term, maybe 1 month later than the end of the term.
Can I
Yes,
add one detail?
yeah.
I mean, he wasn't in the room when we chatted. Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, when they talked about me, of course, I left the room. So Yasemin was helping me with that.
So you interviewed the students?
He actually, about content, he was interested. To
Some
find
of
out
them.
whether they were
Most of
working
them.
or not.
She was
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
Well, I think one or two I
wanted
did
to ask
on my own.
Yeah. But when I asked questions about the instructor,
Yeah.
and he wasn't there, but only for the materials.
They didn't tell anything bad about me. You see, I mean, there were also
After they graduated.
high achieving as well as
Safe.
failing students. In fact, yeah, I mean, the failing students simply admitted that, yeah, we failed because we didn't work. I mean, we didn't watch the videos. All right, so convenience level, meaning that I emailed about 20-25 students, so would you come to this chat, please? And I think maybe 15 of them responded, and about 5 to 10 came to this session, maybe. Well, it's about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so that's here what they say, for example, about the course. What we study in an English classroom sometimes doesn't match the English we study in our course. Even though we know English, we lose some of the points because the lecture is in English. I don't want to mean that we want the lecture to be taught completely in Turkish, but some difficult concepts might be explained in Turkish as well, which is, I think, hinting towards the multilingual, towards my being more multilingual in the class. And also, they didn't teach us technical English in our English preparatory program, so our English is not enough to understand our courses in English, which I think exhibits an understanding of this multilingual dimension in the course. About the multi-semiotic, in fact, yeah, before that, I was happy to see that in yesterday's version of this tree, we had multi and trans-semiotic dimension here, because that tree, that's, I think, yeah, more than 1 year ago, I downloaded this tree from Talib. So now I think that we also have this trans-semiotic dimension, which is, I think, which this this homework, that is, watch the video, write a summary without using any technical symbolism, that I think, that's obviously a trans-semiotic exercise. Okay, so that's what they say. I only have one problem with the online videos, which is that my English sometimes is not enough. There could be these English subtitles pointing out to the multi-semiotic, well, text and video combination here. Since this department is a bit more math-based, talking about electrical engineering, if the level of difficulty for us is 3, I think it is 7 or 8 for those who are in more verbal departments, maybe referring to economics or communication, I don't know.
Social sciences.
Yes,
Humanities.
social sciences, yes. Which, yeah, I mean, I can imagine that there maybe teachers, instructors may have more difficulties in this communication, because after all, I can use, as I said, just formulas and graphs and diagrams. Yeah, so in fact, it is very nice to see how the theoretical concepts we covered in our lectures are available in our field and how they are used in the discussion forums. which I think should be related to the functional dimension, because they can now talk about all this technical stuff, what they learned in the class. Now they can relate this to something, some other video on YouTube, which they watch, and they can also carry this to a discussion forum. Again, about the discussion forum, I did all of them. It improves my ability to interpret, it directs you to do a little more research. For example, you learn some information, you say, there's something like this, let me take a look. You interpret a little bit, a little more, little by little. Okay, which is, I think, so the critical approach to what they see leads them to learn more, to research for this purpose. I understand my lessons by listening better, but when I cannot understand, couldn't understand the subjects in class, it's a big plus to have the opportunity to listen my lessons online again and again. Sometimes we are not able to come to the classroom, so we feel so tired on that day. Thus, having access to different sources other than the lecture itself will allow us not to fall behind the class, appreciating the technological dimension here. But, well, in fact, that's actually what I meant when I was talking about the autonomy of the learner yesterday. So this technological dimension, I think especially, maybe also the critical dimension, has really something to do with the learner to be his or her own agent in the learning process, I think. Yeah, I think I should conclude here. First of all, I mean, every time I reflect back to all these passing years, I can't help remembering Rod Stewart's famous song, Fate of the Heart, which was the opening theme of the TV series Star Trek Enterprise. So it starts, it's been a long road getting from there to here. So this much about this, my story. But I think two important points here, maybe three. The multimodal analysis of classroom materials and practices constitutes evidence for the conceptualization of disciplinary literacies, which is enlisted by Nicola and our co-workers. That's the evidence for the validity of this dimensions. But also the other way around, using this conceptualization, using these dimensions, you can check whether you are on the right direction or not, right? So that's also the other way around. The incorporation of different dimensions in course activities through course videos and other activities contribute to students' awareness regarding their disciplinary literacies. Well, I cut some part out of here because I mean, it was also through course videos which include non-standard versions of English speaking people also contributes to the ELF awareness, right? But that's another story.
Language awareness.
Yeah, language awareness. Right, but of course we need to do more study to check all this, and I think that's enough. So, but I shouldn't pass this. Well, it's, as I said, it's been quite a long road from there to here, but I have to thank many of my colleagues, starting from Yasemin, Emine, well, some of them are here, just to tell your names. Benan, Saime is not here. Okay. So thank you very much for for your contributions, for my being a more EMI CLIL DL health aware instructor. So this, yeah, so I should also acknowledge the
to,
the sponsors.
okay,
Right,
thank you.
okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Perfect.
I mean, if there are any questions, I will be happy. Yes.